The rain hammered the roof of our cramped Brooklyn brownstone like it was trying to drown out the screams echoing through the walls. I slammed the door to my room so hard the frame rattled, my heart pounding like a bass drum in some underground club, but it couldn't block out Benjamin's voice. Raw, accusing, slicing through the thin barrier between us. You think you can just waltz in here and act like you own the place, Noah? Like Dad's money makes you family? You're nothing but a goddamn intruder. I collapsed onto my bed, fists clenched, the words burning hotter than the cheap whiskey I'd chugged earlier at that dive bar on Atlantic Avenue. Benjamin, Ben to everyone else, but never to me, had always been the golden boy of our fractured family. Tall, broad-shouldered, with that effortless all-American charm that turned heads at Columbia and made our stepmom, Elena, beam like he'd hung the moon. Me, I was the wild card, the 17-year-old punk from Jersey who'd shown up 2 years ago when my dad married her, dragging me into this polished Manhattan-adjacent life I never asked for. Tattoos snaking up my arms, a nose ring that Elena side-eyed every morning over her kale smoothies, and a chip on my shoulder the size of the Verrazano Bridge. That night, it all boiled over. We'd been tiptoeing around each other for weeks, ever since I caught him staring a beat too long while I changed after a pickup basketball game in Prospect Park. His eyes had lingered on the ink across my chest, the way sweat traced the lines of my abs, and I'd snapped. "What the fuck are you looking at?" He'd flushed crimson, muttered something about the heat, and bolted. But the tension simmered, unspoken, electric. Tonight, it ignited over something stupid, the last slice of pizza from the box Elena had left on the counter. I grabbed it, he shoved me. Words flew like shrapnel. "You're such a selfish prick," he'd yelled. His blue eyes, those piercing, lake blue eyes that made girls at his frat party swoon, flashing with something deeper than anger. Hurt? Betrayal? I didn't know, and I didn't care. Or so I told myself as I punched the pillow, willing my body to cool down. The house was quiet now, Dad and Elena out at some gala in Midtown, leaving us alone in this pressure cooker of a home. Hours ticked by. 2 a.m. The rain hadn't let up. Couldn't sleep, my mind replaying the shove, the way his hand had gripped my shoulder. Not hard enough to hurt, but firm, lingering. What the hell was wrong with me? I wasn't. No. I pushed it down, deep, like I'd done since high school locker rooms where whispers followed me like shadows. Gay, bi, whatever. Labels were for Instagram bios, not for stepbrothers in a city that chewed you up and spat you out. A knock shattered the silence. Soft, hesitant. "Noah," Ben's voice, stripped of its earlier venom, muffled through the door. "Go away," I growled, but my pulse betrayed me, quickening. The knob turned anyway. He slipped in, shirtless in those gray sweatpants that hung low on his hips, his blonde hair damp from the humidity, sticking to his forehead. God, he looked wrecked, vulnerable in a way that twisted something in my gut. I didn't mean it. All that shit I said. I sat up, crossing my arms over my chest like armor. Yeah? Then why say it? He leaned against the door, rubbing the back of his neck, that nervous tick he had when professors called him out in lecture halls. Because you're always pushing. Like you hate it here. Hate us. And I get it, man. The move sucked for you. But Dad, he's trying. We're trying. Us, I scoffed, standing now, closing the distance between us. The room felt smaller, the air thicker, You mean you, playing perfect son while I scrape by on scholarships and side gigs slinging coffee in Williamsburg. His jaw tightened, but he didn't back down. Inches apart, I could smell his cologne, cedar and something citrusy, mixed with the faint tang of rain from the open window. It's not a competition, Noah. But you make it feel like one. Every glare, every snide comment. What do you want from me? Everything. The word lodged in my throat, unspoken. Instead, I shoved him back, light, testing. I want you to back off. Stop pretending we're brothers. His eyes widened, then narrowed. We are brothers. Step or not. Bullshit. My voice cracked. Raw. The argument reignited, words tumbling out, about how he'd stolen my spot in Dad's heart, how his easy life mocked my scraped-together existence, how his stares made me question everything. He fired back, defending his world, his fears of letting Elena down, of the pressure to be the straight-A legacy kid. Then, silence. Heavy, charged. His chest heaved, mirroring mine. Without thinking, I grabbed his wrist, to push him away, to pull him closer. I didn't know. He didn't pull back. Our breaths synced, ragged. Rain drummed a frantic rhythm outside. Noah, his whisper was a plea, his free hand rising to my jaw, thumb brushing my stubble. Time fractured. I leaned in, or he did doesn't matter. Our lips crashed, not gentle, not tentative. Hungry. Desperate. His mouth tasted like salt and regret, his body pressing into mine, solid and warm against the chill seeping through the walls. We stumbled back, hitting the bed. Hands roamed, mine under the waistband of his sweats, his fisting my tea, yanking it over my head. It was frenzy, no words, just the slick slide of skin, the gasp when I nipped his neck, the way he arched into my touch like he'd been starving for it. Forbidden, wrong stepbrothers, for fuck's sake, but in that moment, under the relentless downpour, it felt like the only truth in a city built on lies. Afterward, we lay tangled, sheets twisted around us, staring at the cracked ceiling. His head on my chest, my fingers tracing lazy circles on his back. What did we just do? He murmured, voice small. I swallowed hard, heart still racing. Changed everything. The rain eased to a drizzle as dawn crept in, gray light filtering through the blinds. Ben slipped out before the house stirred, leaving a ghost of warmth on my skin. I touched my lips, swollen and bruised, and wondered if I'd dreamed it. But the ache in my chest said no. This was real. And in New York, real things had a way of breaking you wide open. Days blurred into a tense normalcy. Breakfasts where our eyes met over cereal bowls, loaded with subtext Elena chalked up to boys being boys. Dad clapped us both on the back after a Yankees game, oblivious, while Ben and I exchanged glances that lingered too long in the stands. At night, alone in my room, I'd replay it the way he'd moaned my name, low and broken, the vulnerability in his eyes when he came undone. It haunted me, this pull toward him, stronger than gravity, defying every taboo we'd been force-fed. But guilt gnawed. Was this just rebellion? A fuck you to the family we'd been stitched into? Or something deeper? A thread that had always been there, waiting for the seam to split? Ben avoided me in the hallways of our brownstone, but I'd catch him watching from the fire escape, smoking a joint, his silhouette etched against the skyline. One evening, as I headed out to my shift at the cafe, he cornered me in the foyer. "We need to talk," he said, voice low, urgent. His hand brushed mine. Accidental? Intentional? Sending sparks up my arm. "About." I played dumb, though my body screamed for more. That night, he glanced upstairs, where Elena's yoga playlist hummed faintly. It can't happen again." The words landed like a gut punch. I forced a laugh. Bitter. Wasn't planning on it. Golden boy. But as I stormed out into the humid July air, dodging tourists on the subway to Bushwick, I knew it was a lie. For both of us. Summer dragged on, sticky and unforgiving. Ben dove into his internship at some finance firm in the financial district, coming home late with ties loosened and stories of power lunches. I'd nod along at dinner, picking at my food, while inside, resentment festered. He was slipping back into his world, leaving me to wrestle the what-ifs alone. One night, after a double shift that left my feet throbbing, I found him on the stoop, nursing a beer, the city lights painting him in gold and shadow. "Miss me," quipped, dropping beside him, snatching the bottle for a swig. He snatched it back, but his fingers grazed mine, deliberate this time. Every damn day, the admission hung there, vulnerable. We really talked for the first time since. About the pressure of being the responsible one, how his coming-out fantasies clashed with Elena's conservative Baptist roots. About my mom, who'd bailed when I was 10, leaving Dad to raise a hellion alone. Laughter mixed with confessions, the beer loosening tongues. When his knee pressed against mine, neither pulled away. Inside, on the worn leather couch, it happened again. Slower this time, exploratory. Kisses that started tentative, building to fire. His hands mapping my scars, the faded one from a skateboarding wipeout in Red Hook, while I learned the freckles dusting his shoulders. We didn't go all the way, not yet, but it was enough to crack us open, spilling secrets into the dark. Yet dawn brought the crash. "This is fucked," he whispered, pulling on his boxers, eyes averted. "We're family." "Says who?" I shot back, anger flaring. "Some bullshit merger of households?" He dressed in silence, leaving me with the echo of his footsteps. The betrayal stung, not of the act, but of his retreat. He was choosing safety over us. Weeks later, conflict erupted anew. At a family barbecue in Dad's backyard, really just the tiny patio strung with fairy lights, Ben announced his new girlfriend. Sarah, a sorority girl from Columbia, all bubbly laughs and sundresses. She draped over him like a trophy, and he played along, but his eyes sought mine across the grill smoke, pleading. I excused myself early, fleeing to the alley behind a bodega, lighting a cigarette with shaking hands. Betrayal? Yeah, that was it, sharp as broken glass. He followed, of course. "What the hell, Ben?" I hissed, exhaling smoke like venom. "It's cover," he pleaded, grabbing my arm. "Elena suspects something. Dad's been asking questions. So you parade her around? Use her?" His face crumpled. "I don't know what else to do." We argued under the fire escape, voices rising until a neighbor's light flicked on. In the heat, I kissed him, fierce, punishing. He kissed back, then shoved me away, tears streaking his cheeks. "I can't lose them, Noah." Not like you lost your mom. The words gutted me. I walked away, the city swallowing me whole. Fall crept in like a thief, stripping the leaves from the trees lining our street and turning the air crisp with the promise of change. But nothing shifted for us. Ben and Sarah became official Instagram posts of coffee dates in Soho, her head on his shoulder at football watch parties. Each one was a knife twist, especially when he'd text me late at night, "Miss you. This isn't real." I'd delete them unread, or so I told myself, but they burned holes in my phone. I threw myself into senior year at my magnet school in Bed-Stuy, acing AP Lit essays on forbidden love in The Great Gatsby while irony choked me. Friends noticed my edge. Jaden, my skate crew buddy, pulled me aside after a session at the McCarran Park Bowl. "You good, bro? Look like you saw a ghost." "Worse," I muttered, ollieing over a crack in the pavement. Family drama. He didn't pry, but his hug lingered, platonic and grounding. It made me ache for Ben's touch, the way he'd hold me like I was the only anchor in his storm. One October evening, as jack-o'-lanterns flickered on stoops, Dad called a family meeting. Elena perched on the arm of the couch, her hand on Ben's knee, too maternal, too knowing. "We've noticed tension," Dad said, his lawyer voice steady. "Between you boys. What's going on?" Ben and I exchanged a glance, mine defiant, his panicked. "Nothing," we chorused, too synced. Elena leaned forward, her eyes soft but sharp. Communication is key in blended families. If there's unresolved feelings, Jesus, Mom, Ben cut in, flushing. "It's guy stuff. Sports rivalries or whatever." She backed off, but the seed was planted. That night, Ben snuck into my room again, the floorboards creaking under his weight. "We have to end this," he whispered, sitting on the edge of my bed, elbows on knees. "Before it destroys everything." I sat up, the lamp casting harsh shadows on his face. "You mean before it destroys your perfect life?" His head snapped up, hurt flashing. "You think that's what this is? Easy for me. Then fight for it." My voice rose, fists balling the sheets. "Or are you just another coward hiding behind a girl?" He surged forward, pinning me down, not violent, but urgent, his weight a delicious pressure. "I hate you for making me want this," he growled, lips crashing into mine. It was war and worship, teeth and tongues, his hips grinding down as I bucked up. We stripped frantically, the cool air no match for the heat building between us. For the first time, we went all the way. Slow at first, tentative lube from my drawer, whispers of "you okay?" and "God, yes," then building to a rhythm that shook the bed frame. He was beautiful undone, blonde hair sweat damp, moans muffled against my shoulder. I traced the curve of his spine, memorizing every gasp, every shudder. When we climaxed together, felt like absolution, like we'd rewritten the rules. But morning brought clarity's cruel light. He dressed with his back to me, shoulders hunched. This was goodbye. "Noah, fuck you," I spat, betrayal coiling tight. "Run back to Sarah. Pretend this never happened." He paused at the door, hand on the knob. I wish I could. School became my escape, but even there, echoes followed. In the library, buried in Giovanni's room, Baldwin's words hit too close, the terror of desire in a world that condemned it. I texted Jaden for a distraction, a party in Greenpoint, thumping bass and cheap beer. That's where I met Alex. A transfer from Seattle with piercings in places that made me smirk and a laugh that cut through the noise. We danced, bodies close in the crush, his hands on my waist tentative but bold. Kissing him in a shadowed corner was rebellion, sweet, uncomplicated. No family ties, no heartbreak. But as his fingers tangled in my hair, all I saw was Ben's face, and guilt soured the taste. Ben found out, of course. Sarah spilled, or maybe he stalked my stories. He confronted me in the kitchen at dawn, eyes bloodshot, voice a whisper shout. Who is he? Some rebound fuck? Jealous? I sneered, pouring coffee with shaking hands. Thought you were done. I am. But you're throwing away what we had for some stranger. What we had. Laughter bubbled up. Hysterical. You mean stolen moments and lies? Yeah. Real foundation. He stepped closer, the counter digging into my back. It was more than that. For me, anyway, the admission cracked my armor. I grabbed his shirt, pulling him into a kiss that tasted like desperation and coffee grounds. Elena's footsteps on the stairs froze us. We sprang apart, him fleeing to the basement, me burning toast like nothing happened. Thanksgiving loomed, a minefield of turkey and forced cheer. Dad rented a cabin upstate, near the Catskills, to bond as a family. The drive was silent torture. Ben shotgun, me in back-scrolling memes to distract from his profile, the strong jaw, the way his neck met his collar. Elena chattered about pie recipes. Dad blasted Springsteen. The cabin was rustic charm, log walls, a stone fireplace, lake views dusted with early snow. Nights by the fire, esmores and stories, but under the blanket of normalcy, Ben and I simmered. One midnight, unable to sleep, I wandered to the dock, stars mirroring on the water. He appeared like a ghost, blanket around his shoulders. Can't either, I asked, voice soft in the chill. He shook his head, sitting beside me, our thighs brushing. Thinking about you. Us. We talked for hours, dreams deferred. His law school applications hiding a passion for poetry. My sketches in a hidden notebook. Visions of street art murals that screamed what words couldn't. Vulnerability wove us tighter, until his hand found mine under the blanket. Back inside, in the bunk room we shared, Elena and Dad in the master. We were careful, whispers, touches muffled by pillows. It was tender, exploratory, his body arching under mine like a bowstring. I love you, he breathed as we moved together, the words slipping out unplanned. I froze, then kissed him deeper. Love you too. But dawn brought reality. Sarah called, voicemails piling up, questions about the trip. Ben's face paled. He deleted them, but the damage was done. We can't keep doing this, he said, voice breaking. It's killing me. Then leave her. Choose us. I can't. Tears welled. Not yet. Not like this. Betrayal renewed. Sharper. I packed early, hitchhiked back to the city alone, the Greyhound rumbling like my rage. New York greeted me with indifferent horns and steam vents, but inside, I shattered. Winter gripped the city, holidays a blur of tinsel and tension. Ben and Sarah attended the Columbia Winter Formal. Photos flooded my feed, her in red velvet, him smiling like a mask. I partied harder. Alex became a fixture, Hookups in his East Village walk-up that left me hollow. "You're elsewhere," he said one night, post-sex, tracing my tattoos. "Hearts with someone else." "Family shit," I lied. Christmas Eve. Snow blanketing the brownstone. Elena hosted a party. Neighbors, eggnog, carols. Ben cornered me in the coat closet, coats muffling our breaths. I broke it off with Sarah. Shock, then elation. Why? Because it's you. Always has been. We kissed like the world was ending, hands frantic under wool scarves. But Elena's voice called, "Boys? Dinner." We emerged flushed, excuses ready. That night, after guests left, we snuck to the roof, city lights sprawling below, private aurora. Wrapped in one blanket, we made love slow, reverent, the skyline our witness. "This could be us," he murmured, head on my chest. For real, I believed him. For the first time. But lies have half-lives. January brought leaks, whispers from Sarah's friends, rumors at Ben's frat. Elena confronted him over brunch, her face ashen. "Is it true? About you and Noah?" Ben denied, voice steady, but his eyes met mine across the table. Apology, fear. Dad, oblivious, changed the subject to Super Bowl picks. That afternoon, Ben texted, "Meet me at the bridge. Need to talk." The Brooklyn Bridge at dusk, fog rolling off the East River. He waited by the cables, hands in pockets, wind whipping his scarf. "She's telling everyone. If it gets back to Mom fully, run with me," I said, grabbing his hands. "We leave. Start over. Portland, San Francisco, somewhere they can't touch us." He pulled away, eyes tormented. "I can't abandon them. You're asking me to choose between worlds. Then choose yours." The words were acid. I walked away, the city lights blurring through tears. Spring thawed the ice, but not the rift between us. Ben doubled down on denial. Public dates with a new girl, Mia, a poli-sci major with activist fire that masked his turmoil. I'd see them at coffee shops in the village, her laughing at his jokes while his gaze drifted to me across the street. Hollow. My own life fractured. Grades slipped. Jaden staged an intervention after I wiped out on a rail, bloodied lip and all. "This ain't you, Noah. Whoever he is, cut the cord." But cutting meant bleeding out. Alex faded, sensing the ghost between us. Hookups turned one-night stands with faceless guys from Grindr, each leaving me emptier. Art became my outlet. Spray cans in abandoned warehouses off the G train, murals of fractured hearts and shadowed figures reaching but never touching. One night, Ben found me there, paint fumes thick, my tag fresh on the wall, broken bonds. "You gonna rat me out?" I snarled, capping a can, paint flecking my jeans. He stepped closer, eyes tracing the art. "It's beautiful. Like you. Don't." But my voice wavered. We argued about Mia being insurance, about my self-destruction, about the love we both felt but couldn't claim. It escalated, paint cans clattering, until he pinned me against the brick, kiss bruising, demanding. "Why fight it?" he gasped, hands roaming. "Because you won't commit," I shot back, even as I melted into him. We fucked right there, raw, against the cold wall, the city humming oblivious outside. It was catharsis and catastrophe, his cries echoing in the empty space. After, slumped on milk crates, he lit a smoke, passing it over. I applied to transfer. Stanford. Fresh start. Alone. The word unsaid hung heavy. Without me, his silence was answer. Betrayal. Round 3 deeper, because now it had a future mapped without me. I ghosted him after that. Blocked numbers. Dodged home. Crashed at Jaden's in Crown Heights. Dad noticed. Grounded me with lectures on responsibility. But Elena's worried glances said she suspected. Ben left notes under my door, poems, scribbled on Columbia letterhead, verses of longing that tore me apart. In the shadow of towers, your light pulls me under / waves crash. We drown, but I'd choose the thunder. I'd crumple them, but keep the pieces, taping them in my sketchbook like shrapnel. Graduation loomed, cap and gown a farce. Mine was at the Barclays Center, a sea of proud families. Ben showed, uninvited, in the crowd with Elena, his smile for the cameras not reaching his eyes. Backstage, amid hugs and flashes, he pulled me into a utility closet, ironic echo of Christmas. "Congrats," he whispered, forehead to mine. "Proud of you, then. The bomb, I'm going. Stanford in fall. But come with me, heart stutter, hope, wild." "You serious?" He nodded, kissing me soft. "Couldn't breathe without you. We'll figure it out. Road trip west. New names if we have to." Elation crashed over me. We planned in stolen moments, packing lists, playlists for the drive, dreams of Haight-Ashbury dives and ocean views. For the first time, future felt tangible. Ours. Summer solstice party at Jaden's, bonfire in the lot, bass thumping from speakers. Ben came alone, Mia a memory, and we danced like no one watched, bodies sinking under string lights. Later, in Jaden's guest room, we made promises with skin and sighs. "Forever," he breathed, tracing my collarbone. But forever's fragile. July 4th. Fireworks exploding over the Hudson from a rooftop bash. Ben got wasted, tequila shots chasing vulnerability, and spilled to a frat brother, Tyler, in a slurred confession. Tyler, ever the bro, clapped his back. "Dude, that's messed up." "Steps? Nah. Tell Elena." Clear the air. Overheard by Mia's friend, who texted her, who posted anonymously on a Columbia gossip forum. By morning, it went viral in our circles. Golden boy Ben's dirty secret, banging his stepbro? Elena saw it first. Her scream shattered the brownstone. Dad rushing down, Ben bolting from his room pale as death. I hid in the basement, heart hammering, eavesdropping on the fallout. "How could you?" Elena wept, voice breaking. "Lying to us? To God." "It's not a lie," Ben defended, steady but cracking. "It's who I am. Who we are." Dad's voice. Thunder, "We? Noah?" Silence. Then Ben's whisper, "Yes." Footsteps. Elena storming out. Dad's heavy tread toward the basement. He found me there, curled on the futon, eyes red. "Talk to me, son." I did. Floodgates opened the night of the argument, the pull, the love. He listened, face unreadable, then pulled me into a hug. I had no idea. But this. It's complicated. Ben burst in then, eyes wild. "They're sending me away." Early to Stanford. Alone. Betrayal, ultimate. Parental decree. You told them, I accused, though I knew. Had to, he said, tears falling. No more hiding. We clung in the dim light, Dad awkwardly excusing himself. I love you, Ben sobbed. But I can't fight them and you. Go then, I whispered, shoving him toward the stairs. Be free. He left that week, suitcases in the Prius. Elena's stiff goodbye, Dad's hand on his shoulder. No look back for me. The house echoed empty, my room a tomb of unsent letters. August burned hot, indifferent. I worked doubles at the cafe, tips funding a one-way ticket west. Jaden threw a send-off shots at a karaoke bar, belting Bohemian Rhapsody off-key. You're brave, man, he said, clinking glasses. Don't look back, but I did. Every mile on the Greyhound, skyline fading. Podcasts on queer icons, Milk, Baldwin fueled me, but grief rode shotgun. Arriving in San Francisco, fog-shrouded and alive, I crashed at a hostel in the Mission. Murals everywhere, like echoes of my own. First night, Castro Street pulsed, rainbow flags, laughter spilling from bars. I wandered into one, the cafe, ordered a gin and tonic, and met Luca, Italian transplant, barista by day, poet by night. His smile was easy, uncomplicated. We talked Foucault and family wounds, danced to indie tracks till closing. His loft overlooked the bay, and in the tangle of his sheets, I found release, not love, but healing. Ben texted once, landed. Miss you. Call, deleted. Unread. Months blurred, community college classes on graphic design. Shifts at a taqueria slinging burritos. Weekends hiking Muir Woods with Luca. He knew my scars, kissed them without pity. You're whole, he'd say, and slowly, I believed it. Thanksgiving, I called Dad. Doing okay? He asked, voice warm. Better. A pause. Ben, struggling. But he's trying therapy. Elena's. Adjusting. Pride swelled bittersweet. New Year's. Luca and I watched fireworks from Twin Peaks, his hand in mine. To new chapters, he toasted. But chapters loop. Spring break. Package arrived, Ben's handwriting on the box. Inside, my sketchbook. Pages filled with his additions. Poems inked beside my drawings. Our story illustrated in tandem. A note. You were my thunder. Still are. Forgive me? Heart cracked open. I flew back. Impulse. Credit card debt be damned. LaGuardia. Then subway to Brooklyn. The brownstone glowed. Elena answering the door. Surprise softening to a hug. Noah. Ben in the living room. Thinner. Eyes lighting like stars. You came. We talked, raw. Hours on the stoop. Rain threatening again. I was scared, he admitted. Of losing them. Of not being enough for you. You were always enough. Forgiveness flowed. Easy now. The climax brewed. Dad and Elena, post-therapy, sat us down. We support you, Dad said. Both. But slowly. Dates. Not elopements. Laughter bubbled, relief. Ben and I, official, hand in hand at Coney Island. Ferris wheel creaking under stars. Romance bloomed tentative. Picnics in Central Park. his head in my lap reading Keats. Yet conflict lingered. Ben's Stanford deferral meant long-distance trials. Whispers at Columbia tested resolve. One night, post-argument over a missed call, he snapped, "Maybe we rushed. What if it's just trauma bond?" The old wound reopened. Then say it. End us. He didn't. Instead, he dropped to one knee in our kitchen. Not proposal, but plea. Marry the idea of us. Someday. Tears. Kisses. Promises renewed. Summer returned. Humid and hopeful, but undercurrents swirled. Ben interned at a nonprofit in Chelsea, queer youth advocacy, irony thick as the air. I'd visit from my design gig in Flatiron, lunching at halal carts, his passion lighting him up. "This is it," he'd say, eyes fervent. "Helping kids like us." Nights, we'd crash at my place, Jaden's old room, now mine, bodies entwined, exploring facets of us, him topping for the first time, hesitant then commanding, me whispering guidance till we shattered together. "You're my home," he'd murmur, post-glow, fingers laced. But betrayal's shadow loomed. Tyler, Ben's old frat pledge, resurfaced, reunion at a rooftop bar in Dumbo, skyline glittering. Beers flowed, stories turned sloppy. Tyler, 3 sheets, cornered Ben by the railing. Still banging the stepbro. "Huh? Kinky shit." Ben laughed it off. Tight, forced. Water under the bridge. Man. But Tyler pressed. Voice oily. "Nah. I get it. Experiment phase." "Mia said you were wild." The group chuckled. Ben's face burned. He texted me later. "Need you." Now, I met him at the bar's alley, where he paced, fists clenched. He outed us. Again. To everyone. Rage flared, for him, for the casual cruelty. We fucked in the shadows, angry, reclaiming, his nails raking my back, my teeth marking his throat. "Mine," I growled, and he echoed it, broken. Fallout rippled. Whispers at Ben's classes, Elena fielding calls from church friends. Dad buffered, but strain showed, dinners tense, silverware clinking like accusations. Ben withdrew, skipping dates, buried in books. "Can't breathe," he'd say, eyes distant. I pushed, therapy together, a couples counselor in the village with rainbow stickers on her door. Sessions peeled layers, his internalized shame from Elena's sermons, my abandonment fears from Mom. Progress, slow hand-holding in public. First I love yous to family. Climax built like thunderheads. Columbia's Pride Week. Ben headlining a panel on blended families and queerness. Crowd packed the auditorium. Allies and skeptics. He spoke raw. "My stepbrother, my partner, taught me love defies labels. Blood or not, we're family." Applause thundered. I beamed from the front row, heart swelling. Backstage, he kissed me fierce. We did it, but Tyler lurked. Uninvited, drunk, microphone grabbed during Q&A. "Bullshit, you're faking for clout. Steps don't fuck. That's incest vibes." Gasps rippled. Ben froze. I surged on stage, mic in hand. "It's love, asshole. Real as yours, minus the toxicity." Security dragged Tyler out. But damage bloomed, headlines in campus rags. Columbia scandal. Stepbro romance rocks elite halls. Elena called, sobbing, "This will ruin him." Ben spiraled, nights pacing, popping Xanax like candy. What if they're right? What if we are wrong? Don't, I begged, holding him through shakes. We're human. Flawed. But ours. Betrayal struck deepest from within. One dawn, post-fight, him accusing me of pushing too fast, I woke to silence. His side empty. Note on the pillow, need space. Stanford early. Forgive me. Love. Be. Gone. Again. The apartment echoed. Coffee cold. My screams swallowed by the city. I hunted, texts bounced. Calls to voicemail. Dad confirmed. Elena drove him to the airport. For his sake. Betrayal triplefold. His flight. They're enabling. Rage fueled me. Pounding pavement to Columbia. Confronting Tyler in the quad. You happy? Broke us. He smirked. He needed out. Your poison. Ink boy. Fist connected, jaw crack. Blood on knuckles. Campus security. Suspension hearing. Jaden bailing me out. Not worth it. Bro. But it was. Every bruise a badge. Months hollowed. Fall leaves turned to winter frost. I audited classes at NYU. Designs for queer mags. Covers of intertwined hands. Defying chains. Luca visited once. From SF. Platonic now. Sharing burritos and breakup tales. He'll crawl back, he predicted. Or you move on stronger. Thanksgiving alone, takeout turkey. Netflix marathons. Dad invited, but Elena's chill lingered. Christmas. Card from Ben healing. Miss you. Wait for me? Torn. Burned. New Year's. Castro echoes in my mind. I hooked up, bar guy with kind eyes. But midway, Ben's face flashed. And I bolted. Tears freezing on cheeks. Spring equinox. Bloom time. A package. His poetry chapbook. Self-published. Dedicated to end thunder in my veins. Launch in Palo Alto. Invite slipped inside. I flew, impulse. Heart hammering. Venue packed with tech bros and lit nerds. Ben on stage. Voice steady. Reading our story veiled in metaphor. Eyes found mine in the crowd, shock. Then shine. After. Alley behind the bookstore. Fog thick. You came. Couldn't not. We collided, kiss salt sweet. Hands frantic. Why? Fear. He confessed. Forehead to mine. Tyler's words wormed in. Elena's prayers. But therapy, group for queer kids, showed me. Love like ours saves. Forgive, he whispered. Always, but trust fractured. I pulled back. Prove it. No more runs. He nodded. Fierce. Marry me. Not today, but soon. Build with me. Elation tentative. We drove Highway 1 windows down. Ocean crashing. Talking futures. Co-op in the Castro. Art gallery for my murals. His nonprofit scaling. Stops at viewpoints. Picnics on cliffs. Making love in the van under stars. Back east. Reality tested. Elena's apology stiff. But genuine. I was wrong. Love you both. Dad's bear hug. Proud. Climax resolved in conflict's ashes. Tyler's mea culpa letter. Therapy mandated. I was scared too. Sorry. Ben read it aloud. Then burned it in the sink. Our laughter cathartic. Summer solstice redux. Jaden's bonfire. Ben by my side. Out and proud. We danced. Body's memory. Whispers promises. Yet depth demanded more. One night, post-love, he traced my tattoos. What if we have kids? Someday? Humanity swelled, visions of adoptions. Little ones with his eyes. My grit. Yeah. Family. Our way. Romance deepened. Anniversaries at that first brownstone roof. Poetry slams where he dedicated to my muse. My storm. But whispers persisted. Society's side-eye at step labels. We shed them. Legally. Noah Rivera. Benjamin Hale. Partners unbound by blood. Years folded like origami, intricate, unfolding into grace. We moved to San Francisco proper. A Victorian in No Valley with bay windows for Ben's desk. Garage for my studio. His non-profit thrived centers in Oakland. Youth safe spaces blooming like wildflowers. To consult. Murals on walls depicting journeys. Shadowed figures stepping into light. Hands clasped. Marriage came quiet city hall. Jaden and Luca witnesses. Rings simple silver etched with thunderbolts. Vows under rainbow arches. In storms and sun. You're my always. Reception at a taqueria, tacos, toast. Elena beaming via Zoom. Her growth a quiet miracle. Life wove romantic threads. Anniversaries cliffside. Wildflowers in his hair. Lazy Sundays sketching while he read aloud. Voices blending. Conflicts arose. Petty. Profound. His workaholic nights clashing my free spirit drifts. Arguments flaring hot, then cooling in makeup sex. Deeper understanding. Betrayal's ghost visited once more. A donor to Ben's org, Old Columbia Alum, pulled funding after lifestyle concerns leaked. Headlines revisited. Queer power couples past haunts present. Ben crumbled. Nights sleepless. Doubting worth. I held him through it. Our bed a bunker. We're more than scandal, I whispered, tracing his wedding band. We're legacy. We fought back. Op-ed in the Chronicle. Ben's voice unflinching. Love isn't scandal. Hiding is. Funds poured in tenfold. Donors shamed into silence. Humanity bloomed in the cracks. Adopting Theo, 4-year-old firecracker from the foster system. Curls like Ben's. Mischief mine. Shattered and rebuilt us. First daddies. Park swings. Scraped knees bandaged with kisses. Elena visited. Cookies in hand. Her hugs tentative then tight. Grandma's boy. She'd coo. Redemption in her eyes. Theo's questions pierced. Why 2 daddies? Kids at school say 1 mom. 1 dad. Ben knelt. Honest. Families come in all colors. Buddy. Like crayons. Yours is extra special. Pride parades became tradition. Theo on shoulders. Rainbows painted on cheeks. Chanting for rights we'd fought for. Romance intertwined. Date nights post-bedtime. Stolen kisses in the kitchen. Ben's poems now family odes. Climax revisited in quiet storm. Ben's diagnosis, testicular cancer. Early stage. Caught at checkup. World tilted. Hospital smells. Chemo chairs. My hand in his through nausea. If I don't. He started one night. For dripping. You will. Fierce. I silenced him with lips. Fight like we always have. He did treatments grueling. But support fierce. Jaden flying in for laughs. Luca's care packages of Italian treats. Dad's daily calls. Remission rang like bells. We celebrated on that first Brooklyn rooftop. Airlifted via memory. Theo giggling at pigeons. Post-trauma. Depth deepened. Therapy evolved, couple sessions on legacy. Theo in family counseling for his big feelings. Ben's book launched, Thunder in the Family, Memoir of Us, proceeds to queer youth. Launch party Castro. Theo beaming, my daddies wrote a story, ending humanistic, not tidy bow. We aged into silver threads. Ben's hair, my temples wrinkles from laughter lines. Theo off to college. You see Berkeley, activism in his blood. Grandkids? Not yet, but dreams danced. 1 anniversary, Golden Gate at sunset, fog kissing the bridge. Ben pulled a notebook, new poems, voice gravel soft. From arguments to altars, your storm my shore / changed that night, forevermore. I kissed him, salt wind taste. Best plot twist, New York called once, brownstone sold, but a visit, Dad's retirement party. Elena's church now ally hosting pride events. Toasts to blended beginnings, Theo charming aunts and uncles. Back home, porch swing creaking, Theo's old swing nearby rusted but standing. Regrets? Ben asked, head on my shoulder. None. Truth. The argument that sparked us. Catalyst, not curse. Betrayals forged resilience. Conflicts carved compassion. In America's vast tapestry, Brooklyn grit to Cali glow, we wove our thread, gay. Stepkin turned soulmates, human in imperfection. Love, dramatic and deep, proved not despite the mess, but through it. And in quiet nights, rain pattering like that first storm, I'd whisper to the dark, changed us both. For the better.